Three, two, one, go. I'm Pat.
Yeah, I'm Jeffrey.
Hey, no William, huh?
No, he must be, I don't know, indisposed.
Being
Well,
responsible.
I don't know. This may actually be his week with the children, because he took that vacation and all that. So,
Well, he was here
um,
last week, right? He was here last Wednesday.
yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I want his take on that football game.
Well, maybe I don't know. I don't know if he's still stewing about it. I don't know if he's accepted things, if he's ready to. He didn't seem quite ready to write off the season yet.
Denver Twitter has.
What do you know?
I don't know, man, but yeah, it's just like, oh, I'll follow the Broncos, and all of a sudden there's all kinds of guys in there like, doom! It's over!
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's gotta go! Arr. So,
Well, I guess that's my question. Does he?
I don't know, man. To be fair, I've only watched one Bronco game so far this year.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Right.
I don't have a good read on him. So, I'll watch one this weekend and double check. I'll check my math. So,
He'll either look good or you won't, man.
Yeah.
That's the trick. I asked Will if there was a problem with the offensive line, and he said, he didn't.
I heard it was defense. It's really bad.
He didn't seem exactly. He didn't seem to say that it was like glaring. He said that there was talent there, etc., that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So he didn't feel comfortable taking what should be a perfectly serviceable or good quarterback and blaming this or putting this on the shoulders of improper blocking. We've seen plenty of quarterbacks fall
Lots.
apart, yeah,
Many.
because they simply did not have the
Many,
time
many,
to get
many,
anything
many,
done.
many.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
Yeah. So I've been following that, and I've been watching Coach Prime's spin that he's been putting on his disastrous loss.
Oh, yes.
The Ducks.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead.
Well, there's nothing to it. We need to come together as a team. So, it's a new program, blah, 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 stuff like that. Buy my hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look.
Apparently, they went to the top selling merch team in the NCAA for a couple weeks there.
That's.
Yeah. I saw that in their journal. So.
I'm not going to fight with that because even if they lose a game, right? Even if there is a problem, just generating interest in the program is always a good sign.
Yeah,
in
it's gonna
terms
help.
of
Yeah.
because you and I are old enough to remember when the Buffaloes were a national championship team.
Oh, back in the Cordell Stewart days? I went to one of those games, man. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're talking about the Eric Bieniemy days, and when they shared the national title with Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah. God dang, that was 25 years ago, man.
That's
That was a
generous.
long time. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
That's generous because that was, if I recall, the two standout stars at that time were Eric Bieniemy and Raghib Ismail, the Rocket.
The Rocket, yep, that's right.
And that
was more than 25 years ago.
Yeah, shit. I think I was in 5th grade, man.
Yeah, no. I remember the
if maybe
Cordell
not
Stewart
even
days. That was before then, though. That was when we were kids. So.
Oh yeah, we were kids. The Cordell Stewart years.
I was in college when he was.
Yeah.
Well,
we watched him play through.
Oh yeah.
Professional years. Yeah, he was. A
Yeah,
Steeler.
that's right. Yeah, he was a Steeler. Yeah, before Raven.
Many years. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a. I don't know why. I don't know where the rumors came from, but it circulated that Cordell Stewart was homosexual. I don't see if that.
I've heard that too. Yeah.
I don't recall that ever panning out, but I seem to recall people saying that derisively.
Derisively back then? Yeah,
It was the
probably.
time.
Yeah, it was the time. So, I don't know. Do we have a gay quarterback now? I thought we had one.
What?
2 years ago.
People used to say Jeff Garcia was gay, but he wasn't.
That's not what they meant by that.
But he wasn't.
Right. No, he wasn't. Yeah.
No, I don't know if maybe it's some third stringer or something like that. I don't know, but as far as I know, we don't have any homosexuals
Why do you say it like that? Homosexuals.
I just prefer saying it that way.
Okay, all
Why?
right. Yeah, I don't know. It's like homicide, you know. So
What's wrong with you?
I don't know, man. You put some H into it. You know?
Oh, well, what's the part of the word that sounds insulting? It's homo.
I don't know.
That's the part that was broken off from the original piece to make it its own insult.
Well, I get it. I just use gay. So, you know, I don't know.
Well, I use the proper term. I use...
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
No, it's fine.
You're just the only guy that I know who uses that. So.
Okay, what are you going to do about it?
Nothing, man. So, it's your degree. You know? So,
No, as a matter of fact, to me, that actually seems like the more... Again, it's the Uranus sort of, argument
right.
here, where if the term has been broken down into two parts, if it's homo and sexual, and homo is the part that was broken apart to become pejorative, right? Then maybe you can take some of the sting out of it by just saying homosexual.
oh, okay, I see. I guess gay was always the easier one. I don't know. But yeah, that's right. Yeah, that used to be a pejorative.
Yeah.
I don't know if it still is, really.
It's so... I would imagine it's so tame.
It's
I don't
tame,
think...
yeah.
Like, I don't think you would really draw anybody's ire and say, like, there are homos in this bar. I don't even think that's, like...
That's maybe 20 years ago, man.
I'm telling you, that there's
you
just
call it
no
a homo
thing to
bar.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess I'm remembering thing that's just not really a thing anymore. So...
No, and I if I recall, like, that was the version with less bite. If you were gonna call somebody, if you were gonna insult somebody with that, homo was the nice way.
There was a much sharper knife in the drawer that you used.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, there were quite a few.
There were, yeah.
Yeah, quite a few.
There were quite a few. So, yeah, but we were talking about that the other day. That's kind of gone. No.
Yeah, as well are again the stack of terms that were used to be, like, again, so derisive, right? I would dare say, like if you were to say, like, oh man, that guy's a fudge packer, would anybody care?
No, but
I don't think stupid.
Yeah, I don't think many people would actually get that one anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you called somebody a butt pirate, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you might as well call him a sodomite at that point in time. I don't think people would get
that. Would actually be funny.
What, a sodomite? Yeah.
At that point, because you're.
Well, those were the old laws and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, all right, let's stick a pin in this,
Yeah, just all the ones that's like nobody has been called an anal aviator in fucking
20 years.
Yeah.
In fact, you just dust that one. That one's an antique.
I'm telling you, like, who the fuck would be insulted by this? Whether or not you threw this at that.
Well, I can see some people would be insulted by it, especially if they hadn't heard it before and didn't realize the context in which it came from. So that, I mean, you would accuse someone of that not because they were gay, but because you thought they were lame. And so that's where that whole split between two different meanings between that were actually true.
Well,
I mean, we called people that when we were in like 5th grade, man. You didn't know what fucking gay was back then.
No.
Yeah, exactly. You just heard it on fucking Saturday Night Live, so you thought it was funny. So,
or if you did, or if it popped up on, like I said, this
came up in E.T. Somebody called, didn't he say penis breath in it? He called his brother that or something.
You know what? I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean, it was, the kid's like 8. So,
oh, I will say that when I rewatched the Monster Squad, delightful 80s movie, that movie was filled with and the Mummy and Dracula, and
that's right.
That movie was chock filled of homophobic.
Well, there was a lot of it, and then Philadelphia came out. And everybody's like, "Oh, that sucks. We shouldn't do that anymore."
I think there was just a couple. There was just a couple of in the zeitgeist. Whatever it was that you saw, like I remember my first encounter with that being that Blanche Devereaux's brother was
that's right,
gay,
was gay,
and my parents explained it to me in like the politest way possible, and it made perfect sense.
See, I had a cousin who was gay way back then.
There you go.
So yeah. Well, I mean, he's still around. He's a great guy, but
Right.
you know, and so yeah. In fact, the first time that I remember my parents kind of explaining that to me was when he came out to visit us with one of his friends.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, you know, because he just travel a lot. And his parents were like, well, they're still alive, but they were like, and still are absolute haters on that stuff. So,
His parents?
Oh yeah, they hate his guts. It sucks. It's awful. So, but my mom's always been like really cool with him. So it's like some of her family, other parts of her family, not so much. But the more rational parts of my mom's family, shall we say, the less judgy parts. We'll put it that way.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, are you? Is he of the Michigan side?
Yeah. No, my dad's family? Oh, God, no.
I was saying, like, what would they?
Dude, my grandma chased a Mexican out of my dad's family. So, you know, I mean, you talk about just absolutely screaming racism going on that side. You know, it's like, wait a minute, he's Catholic. Isn't that cool? Does that help? Apparently not. So.
Well, again, like...
That guy was cool, dude. He's dead now, unfortunately. He committed suicide after that. So...
because of that?
I don't know. So I never got the story because nobody would ever tell me. So yeah, it was like, oh, we don't talk about that anymore. It's like, why the fuck not? So, yeah.
This seems like a teachable moment.
It's like, yeah, yeah. So anyway,
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is I never really had a problem with it from the start. The only again, and this may be my own personal beef is I have a problem with sort of public displays of affection. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to.
PDA.
Yeah, like I don't like to see this when it's gay, and I don't like to see it when it's straight. It makes me uncomfortable.
Oh.
Right? Now, unfortunately,
I guess there's a line that you cross on that one. At least for me, there's a little bit that's okay, and then after it's like hands above the equator, brother, so kind of thing.
Well, it's not even that.
Yeah.
I don't. Again, it's like I don't even like seeing that in movies. It's something where it's like, all right, this isn't pushing the story along. It's like, all right, so you can get to it, you can imply it, you can get it over and done with. But hurry up, man. Don't.
Yeah, I've never really liked any of those scenes either.
It's just
I don't know. As a kid, they made me ridiculously uncomfortable. So
well, that was the thing. That's probably where it still comes from.
Yeah.
Is like, my dad's sitting right over. This is weird.
This was weird. Yeah. So
Yeah. This is making me uncomfortable, and
I remember there was one time my mom did a little clutching pearls shriek moment. Yeah, I was watching Predator 2, and the opening scene where the Predator comes in and slaughters all those.
oh
dudes.
yeah.
And then so you get that scene in there with the dude and the chick, where she's riding him, and my mom comes in and she's like, "Are they humping?" And I was like, "Ma, no, it's not that kind of movie." He's like, "What are you watching?" It was like, "Well, stick around about 2 minutes. It's gonna about much worse."
Depending on what your tolerance is, it's. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's that exact thing, and I guess to this day, like if I see that in a movie, it's like my family is in the room with me.
Yeah, okay.
It just feels
I
so
feel the same way.
odd. It feels so weird.
I gotta tell you, what's really fucking weird is watching a movie with your daughter, and that's going on.
I don't know how to handle it.
Yeah, I don't either.
What do you do?
I take a piss. So it's like, oh, I gotta go. Oh, it's getting. Oh yeah, the back teeth are floating. Which is exactly what my dad used to do.
Yeah, that was the thing. My dad would kick us out of the room.
Oh no, my
Right.
dad would find a convenient way to exit.
See, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's
You're like, oh, out of pretzels.
you got like 10.
It's just like I need more.
Yeah. Well, I want the bowl full.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, that's it. And then so, what with the, again, this is not to deviate from, the homosexuality. It's just that what with how things have been, they have been sort of pressing that a little bit more, trying to, normalize it. So
Yeah.
it's like, all right, well, again, stop taking it this way. I don't want to see it from you. I don't want to see it from them.
No.
And again, not your fault. That's my family's fault.
Yeah. You know what? It's 1,000 times worse in video games, though, man. It is 1,000 times worse because not only is it fake, it's like rubbery and
it's rubbery. It's not handled with any delicacy. It's like these aren't. There are writers, and then there are video game writers, and at their best, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's ham-fisted. It's recorded with 10,000 additional lines of tired dialogue. You know, from
Dragon Age was the worst about that. It took forever. Eventually, I gave up. Yeah, I was like, actually, I don't want to see this. Actually, no, I really don't.
Just get on with it.
Yeah, just get on with it. No, I'm gonna play the old man. I'm the celibate old man now.
You know, there's that too, and then there's parts where again, games handle it like fine. Where, like, say, this one is like Starfield right now, right? If you go to bed with a partner, you just actually go to bed. You wake up.
Oh, okay.
And then they have a little conversation.
So you don't have the fucking
morning.
sex scenes like you did in Cyberpunk?
No, it's Cyberpunk, Red Dead.
Red Dead?
Yeah, you remember those, like, where again, it wasn't you doing it. It was like...
Oh, that's right. That was the worst scene ever in any video game that I think I've ever seen. When John Marston walks in on that guy, the rebel.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah. It's like, who do you guys think you are?
Yeah, he'd say they're fucking like a jackrabbit too.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, this is weird, man. I feel bad for John. You know?
I mean, if that's what they were going for, then fine. That's great. I don't know. It's so... I don't know.
I remember that, no.
But that's...
So Red Dead 2 doesn't have anything like that in it. So...
they learned their lesson?
There's nothing. Yeah, I guess they did, yeah.
So yeah, if that's part of it, all right, that's fine. And if your characters want to have a quick kiss or something, sure, all right, yeah, that's my pearl clutching. But it's like, guys, like, because this is the part where I have a tough distinction there, because, like, you know, my family kind of played fast and loose with the MPAA rating system. They're like, okay, well, this boy looks like he wants to watch this sci-fi movie with, you know, spikes and blood and fucking, you know, chainsaws. But if there's a bare breast, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Right? And that's the same thing where I would hate to turn around if I were a parent and say, like, well, my child who's, you know, 14 wants to play this game or 13 wants to play this game, right? And they're out there desecrating bodies and hacking limbs off, and, you know, suddenly there's, like, some raunchy. It's like, now I'm upset.
See, my mom was the opposite. She hated the violence. And I had to play Wolfenstein when she was not awake. So
it's so tame in comparison.
It's totally tame,
really is,
you know.
yeah.
But so when I graduated to Doom, it was a little easier because I was like, oh, they're all aliens.
Yeah, zombies, yeah.
They're all zombies. And she's
They're
like, well, that's
monsters.
okay. They kind of look like people, though. I was like, well, that's because they are. No, they're not. So, and then after a while, it was just like the tidal wave had broken, and you could not hold that back. So after a little while, yeah. So that I got the other side of it. So my parents were actually like, they didn't care about naked breasts or things. They didn't care about that at all. So yeah, in fact, I remember, like, I can't remember how old I was. Probably like 12 or maybe 11 the first time I saw heavy metal.
Yeah, I was around that age too.
Yeah,
I may have been a little bit younger.
I think I had my. I think I asked my mom if she could rent it for me, and she was like, "Sure." So, yeah. Now that one had a lot more violence in it than I thought. So
it does.
It wasn't that bad though.
The violence is
well, the kiwi bird is sad, but you know.
There's that. There's, you know,
wait, he lives.
He does, but he gets wounded.
Well, yeah, he gets shot in the neck by guy with the pizza cutter hand.
Yes, in the Tarna segment.
Tarna, yeah.
Yeah, the violence in that was so secondary to.
There was so the bomber scene was bloody. So I do remember that.
It was bloody, but I mean, it wasn't even that bloody. It was just, frankly, the more horrifying stuff happened off screen.
It did, yeah.
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 the terrifying parts were all implied.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's like surrounded at the end, and you know he's gonna get torn piece to piece. So
I mean, the only part that's really rough is the ball turret sequence where you see the dude like slapping against the wall.
Oh yeah. Man, I haven't seen that in ages. So
I want to say it holds up, but it kind of doesn't.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, especially probably like the first story with John Candy. So
it's
well, no, that was the second one. The first one was a taxi cab driver, right? Yeah.
Yes. Well, actually, no. So here's the thing: is the original cut. It was not the original. The cuts that have come out in the past like 25 years. It has the cab sequence, but that was actually not in the original cut.
I didn't know that. I've only ever seen the one with cab. So yeah.
Yeah, there was a.
Sorry.
Oh no, there was a theatrical re-release of that that I went to when I was still in high school.
Yeah, that was like. I remember when that came out.
That for me that was like 1996 or something like that.
It would have been somewhere right around there.
It was a midnight screening.
Well, wait a minute. They made a second one. That's okay.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking of. No, I'm not thinking of a re-release. I'm thinking of the second
2000. That movie's not good.
2000. There we go. Yeah,
it's not good at all.
I haven't seen it. So
it's not good at all. The power of the it's not even sequential. It's a singular story all the way through. And I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like it really feels like the animation that was done by like Lucasfilm for like The Dig and like Outlaws cutscenes. Now that's not to say that it's necessarily bad.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't work with what heavy metal is supposed to be.
No.
Right?
Yeah. God, Outlaws, I remember that. I played the shit out of that game.
Not great.
I loved it, man.
I mean, no, it's not to say that you didn't love it, but if you look at it in terms of like shooters, you would not rate it.
No, that game was like 100% atmosphere.
Yeah.
The music was fantastic in that game. It was the same guy who did all the Monkey Islands, so and Sam and Max Hit the Road and all in full throttle. So, which I still have my disc of that. So
do you?
I do. I don't have it. I
don't even have an optical drive anymore.
I do. It's not installed though. So right. It's not installed. I ripped it out of my old machine.
Oh.
On the last one. So I don't have a bay for it or anything, but I'm sure I could just hook it up, but whatever. So Starfield's running great too. So
okay.
Yeah, but I got to look at the specs for Skylines, so I still might hit you up for that. But
well, let me know.
Yeah, so they dropped a whole shitload of new videos today.
Did they?
From CS2? Yes, it's everybody. Everybody's calling it CS2, and nobody's missing the opportunity to make a Counter-Strike joke about it. And it's like, come on, you fucking nerds. So
what, are we gonna do this at the same time? Every NFL player has the initials LT. I mean,
exactly. Yeah. So, but anyway, that game it's looking pretty sharp, man. So it's looking pretty sharp.
I like that.
Yeah. So they were demonstrating a lot of the transit tools today.
Were they?
Yeah, and so unlike before where you have to get your population up, it's almost like a skill tree instead. So you start with this, and then eventually you move to this, but it's not based on population necessarily. It's based on whether or not you've placed so many roads or something. And then it opens up. Kind of like the very first start of like City and Skylines was.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like that with everything. And so if you build a police station, then, maybe build 2. Now you can build a jail, so to speak.
Okay.
Kind of like that. So, or, so you want to start some transit. You start with buses. Okay, so get a bus set up, something like that. Boom, here's your tram or your light rail. So here's your subways after that.
I don't like that.
It starts with trains immediately, though. So, yeah. You don't have to wait forever to get outside trains. So, in this one, which was always a pain in the ass in that game.
All right, I'll have to.
I think you can start any one of those that you want. Okay.
Okay.
So, but in order to get better ones, you have to use the first ones. So like university, you can build a university almost like right away.
Yeah.
Okay, but it starts like this. You build the main building, and then, okay, that allows you to open up and build some of the other buildings now. So it's not just based on like, oh, you got 5 stars in your university.
Yeah. No, I gotcha. I guess the whole thing, like, I thought that was sort of, it feels like it's sort of artificially dictating the pathways of your city, where
It might be.
well, I don't mean it that way. I guess, like, so if you had an idea in mind and you're like, well, I don't want buses in my city, right?
Oh, yeah, so you just start up one bus line to unlock the trains. I don't think you have to do that. But
That's what I was talking about. Yeah, because it's like, well, so you're telling me I have to do this?
I think they had it split up as like light transit and then heavy transit. So something
Well,
like
that
that.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was something more like that.
That makes way more sense.
So
yeah.
the same thing was true with, like, your power plant. You start with a basic power plant, but it's not like last time where you have to build like 50 of them. This one, you build one, okay, and then you add modules onto it, so it gets bigger and bigger.
Okay. That makes way more sense. Yeah.
And the industries kind of work the same way, which is nice. So hopefully they got rid of the socialism in it.
Now, do you honestly believe that there were like socialist leanings in it, or were they
Absolutely.
Or were they honestly saying like, this seems like the only way to do it?
No, they could have done that a million different ways, man.
How would you have done that differently without the socialism?
So you zone a large area for heavy industry, okay? And then you allow heavy industry to populate in there, and then just like grow into something that's a huge complex, and then it becomes a huge tax generator for you.
Okay.
So you don't fucking bulldoze that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, so industries made the actual yellow industry tiles useless. Okay.
That's what you said.
Yeah, no, you didn't need them.
I didn't play with that.
Yeah. And so, but the new one, there are industries where you can build and develop major industries, okay? But I hope it's more hands-off than it was in the last. Because the last one, you set up warehouse and distribution networks and blah, 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 and multiple resource chains, yada, yada, yada. And in, like, any, like, normal economy, not run by communists.
Well, that wouldn't be something that the mayor would decide.
Exactly. So, yes. So,
right.
yeah.
So unless your city was run by like a 9-person council, including like
the Elder Council.
Right, the Elder Council. So one person is a Dracula. There's like there's a
you gotta have one of those in your council, man. So that's an important constituency.
Well, it's a European game, so I mean,
you can have a Dracula and a werewolf.
Yeah, and you have like some stuffy codgers, and you have some.
You gotta have the guy in the Pope hat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Some dude in he's in a Pope hat, but he is not Catholic.
No.
He is. He represents like the remnants of the Bavarian Illuminati, but yeah,
something like that. One of the dudes definitely has a cigarette holder. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, when he talks about it, he's like, "I have survived 3 world wars."
Right. Yeah. Well, there's
like,
only 3. Yeah.
It's like, I guess we're really downplaying Napoleon.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the secret one.
Yeah, so if you have that, then yes, you could have people dictating these lines and saying like, oh, this business will do this, and they will run through these streets. Whereas if you zone it in real life, it is up to
right.
It is up to Fred to file for a business loan and
or hit up his rich uncle.
Or use his rich uncle's house as collateral or whatever.
Right.
Go ahead, fill out the forms, go ahead and buy the property, which was a Pizza Hut, and now he's got to like take up the tiles and all that shit.
Right.
And then, he's the one that has to decide. It's like, guys, I don't want you driving on Rangewood. There's been too many accidents.
Right, yeah. So this is left-hand turn only, yeah.
Whereas, your Dracula is saying, don't drive, blah. No. That's a little bit too much authority. Like, this is the same thing where, God, I remember certain complaints where it's like, the Sims don't do exactly what I tell them to.
Oh my god, I am so sick of that gamer mentality on that shit. They have ruined what would otherwise be good games, with that. Like, why can't I do this? Arg. It's like, it's because it's a game, so it's not supposed to be real life. So even the Sims did get a little ridiculous with that shit later. Then they kind of reeled it back in, so which was kind of nice.
Well, they did and they didn't. Okay, so The Sims, I have this problem with, and you made a brilliant point way back in the. It may have been in the days of the first Sims, and you may have been right, where you're like, this game needs some kind of like zapper or bubble gun or something like this. You can't give them like a 1911, but there needs to be something in here where there is an intent to kill.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It's like, this game would be so much more interesting with this, no matter how you slice it, right?
Bang, bang, yeah.
Instead of just deaths, there is murder, there is intrigue, right?
Yeah.
There is that. But you've reached the thing that
any kid with G.I. Joes and Barbies did that.
Of course.
That's what that game was. It was G.I. Joes and Barbies.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereupon, any of the deaths that happens, like, well, that's on me then.
Actually, I'm going to go back on that. They should have a 1911 in that game.
In this hindsight, well, so this is the thing. Like, yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly, right? But in terms of the game itself, there's no way.
No way. No, Will Wright was such a pacifist. There's no way.
Yeah. So
I mean, even in Spore, when his animals ate each other, they did so cutely. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and so what happened was, because you have that sort of limitation in the game, all you can do is essentially add more and more of the absurd.
Well, that's what they did. That's how you got vampires and werewolves and ghosties and UFOs. I mean, the UFO in the original game was kind of fun because
it was so random.
It was rare to get it. You could play many hours.
Never happened.
It never happened. Yeah. So yeah, it was really rare. And it was one of those things. I think I saw an interview with Will Wright at one point in time. It might have been back in the PC Gamer days. So where he was like, yeah, so there's some things that can happen that if you don't catch it, all right, and then you go tell your friends about it, they probably won't believe you.
That's exactly what happened to me, yeah.
Which was kind of a neat thing to add into a game.
Oh, did you already fill up?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it took the rest. I'm good.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that's what happened. I was like, really?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, just like if you look through that telescope and sometimes this might happen.
Mm-hmm. And then you think about it for 3 days. So
that was so crazy.
It's all your guy does is just wander around and worry like, ooh, and then think like UFO bubble over his head. It's like, I'm going insane. It's almost like CK2 had so many moments where there's like, I'm turning into a bear. This is great.
I've never dared. If you go onto those forums, are there people who hate that?
Probably, yeah. Oh, this isn't historically accurate. And it's like, you can turn it off, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can turn off the vampires and the bears and the werebears and the super werebears with lasers.
There are some games that I expect the things to do what I tell them to do. Anything that has a genuine like competitive edge.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, I expect this to do what I say it should do.
Yeah.
Right? But if it's something where, baked into the game is life,
Well, yeah. Yeah, make it a little goofy. So
goofy or problematic or whatever. But right, I remember you said that. It's like, this game has a problem. You cannot have like foul intent in this regard.
Right.
And it hamstrings because by the time you get to the fourth one, right, the mechanics are solid, right? You played it; they're absolutely solid. But there is
building tools are great, so you can build whatever the fuck you want as far as a house goes.
Absolutely amazing, right? But yeah, that's the step where they take it is like the formula is the same except for there's goofier shit, which you have to reconcile
Yeah.
within the game. I guess that's not what I wanted. I wanted more murder, more.
Yeah.
Well, because to me that would be something that opens up a new dimension for me. Like so.
Oh yeah.
To take it back to Starfield, right? So I was looking for the thing. Like I remember I told you this like last time around was like I'm playing this. I don't know why, right? And what I've found is that there are a lot of law enforcement factions within this game.
They're kind of interesting. So,
and once this game said, "Do you want to be a space cop?" I said yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Which one? The Cowboys or the other guys?
The Rangers.
The Rangers. Okay. Yeah.
And I have found that to be an extremely rewarding.
Oh, really? I didn't do that one yet, man. So.
Yeah, it totally changed my whole perspective on it. It totally changed my whole attitude of the character that I was playing.
That's cool.
Yeah. I'm like, all right. Now, that doesn't mean that the problems that we discussed before aren't there. As a matter of fact, I have now tried to get into shipbuilding, and I find this to be a fucking nightmare.
I can't get it. I don't know all the components that you need in order to build a fucking ship. So I have tried building one from scratch like 5 different times. And I have hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's just like, all right, I got the money to do this, so but then I do the thing where it says test your ship, and it's like, like components missing. I'm like, what the fuck is missing? So I don't know what it is.
It's not even just that. It is, to me, I find the interface of it fucking awful.
I hate it when you go below the plane. It's like, why the fuck is this?
Why
even
would you
here?
do
Yeah,
this?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you do this? And certain things where, like, why would you have again certain parts where it's like, well, the docking thing needs to be free and like it is. It's like, what do you mean it's not? It is.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
clearly is.
Yeah.
So you fix that and it says, oh, well, you can't do that. I'm like, well, then what do you want me to do? It's like, well, okay, well, now it's got to, you got to add more engines. I'm like, okay, I'll add more engines. Like,
see, I don't even get messages like that. I just get like fail messages. So.
Oh God, it's beyond frustrating because the only thing is like my whole run, I'm doing fine. It's just I keep having that thing where I'm like I'm more and more full, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't empty out my inventory, and so then it tells me, well, your cargo hold is full. Said, oh well, that should be easy enough to fix.
Yeah.
Like. I start looking around for this. I'm like, I don't know, and
it's in the cockpit.
Well, no. I was stuffing it there, but it's full in there, so I can't dump resources into it anymore.
Oh yeah, you're full.
So I have this like weight limit that is never really getting down to normal. So I sell all the crap that I pick up, but I picked up resources.
Yeah.
But I can't dump them into the hole. But I want to save those.
Oh, okay. So I got 2 workarounds for you. Number 1 is establish an outpost. Okay, because you can build warehouses. Okay, they're just like these storage boxes that hold like fuckload of shit. The other one, back in the lodge in your bedroom there, that thing holds infinite amounts of stuff. So there's a safe in there.
Well, that's fine. But
Yeah.
I mean, the whole problem is like this is all stuff that I'm carrying with me.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah.
Because otherwise I have to take it over to the lodge and,
dump it in the safe.
Walk,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, that's the whole thing. And because I want to be able to also to dish this out from the ships. That gives you the option to dish out from there when you're, doing
It does,
things.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm just like, okay, well, it seems like on a ship, if I needed just a extra bit of cargo, I could build that.
Yeah, there's cargo bays, aren't there?
Yes, but the one that you have on the ship that you get,
It's tiny.
and it goes in this little compartment on the back.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
did notice that.
So the next one up, right?
Yeah.
They only build on the side. It's not
Oh,
bigger.
yeah, okay.
And so you have to reconfigure
to
the
reconfigure the whole
It's
fucking
so
ship.
fucking
Yeah.
stupid. And like,
See, I wish they had like 5 template ships that would kind of show you, okay, this is a style of ship you can
yes,
do. That'd be great.
Yes.
Yeah, because when it just gives you the blank slate, it's like, well, what the fuck goes where? And okay, so let me modify my ship. And I do some modifications on it. It's like, no, it won't take off. No, it won't do this. No, then it's like, okay, fine. Let me just upgrade each one of these things.
Yes.
So, which is like fine, I guess, but it's not. I don't think it's what Todd Howard had in mind. But then, like, you know, so there's got to be a way to do it.
Yeah, and here's
There's got to be a way to do it, man.
I don't want to. This is this kind of game. I don't want to dive into. I don't want to look at someone's tutorials.
No,
I
I'm
don't
not
want to,
either.
That's the whole thing. Is
It's nice that you and I just kind of figuring shit out.
you and I can talk about this. You and I did the same thing with our Skylines traffic problems.
That's
like
true.
Patrick.
Oh, the humanity!
It showed you this shit. It's like, what have you done?
What is this?
You're gonna get sued. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's like this in the streets a roller coaster. You know? So, yeah, so I don't know. There's a few things that I've kind of figured out. I got to play it a lot more this weekend. I was really into it, and then yesterday I just didn't get a chance to play it. So on Monday night after a podcast, I went home, fired that fucker up again, and I started cracking the entire science tree.
Oh.
So
Okay.
there's one in there that's really good. So the research methods, because you get 10% off the first one, 20% off the next. This is a resource requirement for what you're building.
Oh, okay.
Oh fuck, man! That like really quickly that makes a difference. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And then some of the upgrades that you can get out of there. I don't know. Like the gunplay in this one's fine. I don't see the point behind laser weapons though. So I've only found like 2 of them. So like the Equinox rifle and the thing that looks like a flashlight. So
Oh, there's a few.
yeah,
Yeah, there's
are
a
they
few
any
out
good?
there.
They just like whenever I get in a fight, it's like the last thing I reach for unless it's the only thing I have ammo for.
Well, okay, so there are. It's the rock paper scissors. It's the
Okay.
so lasers, I believe, work well against robots.
Okay.
I believe that's the case. I think they work well against robots. And then
I haven't fought too many robots.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I equip my companion. They have laser weapons.
Okay.
So, and then
I take that robot with me everywhere. So
okay.
he's a free man on your crew, if you didn't know that.
oh, okay.
He doesn't take up a crew spot. If you bring it with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I found that out the other day.
All right. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So the 3 categories are basically humans, robots, and animals.
Okay, so what's good against animals? Is that the particle weapons? Whatever they are?
What the magnetic
Yeah, the little squiggly thing. Yeah, so
I don't know. I have certain things like so for them, I have like a series of like shotguns or things like that will
Okay,
set
that's
things
what
on
I've been
fire and
I did figure out how to make those bullets. So
Yeah.
yeah.
so I think that's part of it is
Okay.
you know that but to me it's like all right, well there's 3 distinct types of weapons and yeah, so like bullets really good against people.
Well, yeah, which is 90% of what you fight.
That's what I'm finding.
Unless you're on safari. So
Well-
I did go doing some safariing the other night.
It's brutal.
It is. It made me feel bad. It was like that scene in Dances with Wolves. So, where they just skinned them and left them all
It
out
just,
there.
yeah, it does
rot.
not. It does not jive with the game. It does not.
I found this one planet that had these roving herds of these giant bugs, so that were completely harmless.
Are they kind of blue?
Yeah, and they got like this spiky thing on the back of them.
Okay,
So,
yeah. All right.
And I was like, wow, these guys drop a lot of XP. And there's a lot of them, and I could just fly right over there and generate a new map full of them. Sweet.
They don't stop.
No.
Yeah, they don't stop. Or just walk a little bit in that direction.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. There's no. Have you still not picked up on the fact that there's a shortage of white people?
I don't know. I haven't been to too many populated areas, man.
Weird.
So, I mean, I got the robot as my companion, so I'm kind of like kind of misanthropic in this game anyway.
Well, I
So-
sort of am too, but
I mean, the main city, what is it, New Atlantis, is dumb. So, I mean, like the 5 things you can do there are kind of like, nah, so people in the lots just bother you and they want you to do things for them. And so, like, I'm I am so not into the main storyline. So
Do you care? I mean,
I don't really care.
I don't feel like that's what this game is.
So I haven't gone very far into it because I've gotten sucked into other things.
That's
So, you know, and so like the furthest that I
it.
got was, so I did meet the cowboy dude and go out to his planet. So
that's a great that actually that's
yeah.
That dude is by far the least annoying.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, okay, I'd agree, but I still didn't bring him along, even though he wanted to come along after that. And so,
No, but you have to do that.
you have to do that with him, yeah. So, but then I go back and I save Barrett, and he's annoying as fuck.
He's incredibly annoying.
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, I'll come with you." I was like, "Fuck you, will. This is my ship now, so you stay here."
I swear,
So,
like,
yeah.
he feels like he's in some sort of like future blackface. It's so annoying.
Yeah. No, I couldn't stand
It's
him.
so annoying.
Yeah, and he gave me shit for killing all his pirate captors. So I was like, "You're welcome." So yeah, if you want to stay here with their fucking mangled corpses, knock yourself out.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
so he was like, "Well, that was your plan, huh?" I was like, "Yeah, it worked. Fuck off."
Look, I talked him out of it, but
You talked him out of it?
dude. Yeah, I
Oh, the talk out system where you get the pluses and minuses. Yeah, it's very gamey. Yeah,
it's very gamey. Look, and that was just the thing.
kind of a front door guy on this one, man.
Well, okay. Now this is the okay.
You last time I played Cyberpunk, you turned me into front door's best door.
Well, okay. So I still do a lot of that. It's just that the type I started came with that little persuade thing.
Oh,
So it's an option, right? And the fun thing about it, the one good thing about it is it does open up different dialogue branches within the conversations, right? And they're normally not the ones. The only ones that have the skill checks are the am I going to shoot you or whatever conversations, right? And that's been going on in these games for forever. So I get it. But at least in like regular NPC talk, it opens up different dialogue things. But I didn't want that. I was just like, well, it came with the type, right? The rest of the stuff, most of the time, yeah, it's just, especially when I became a ranger, right? Mm-hmm. That is where things went off the rails for me, right? And that's not the only police force. There's multiple police forces.
Well, no, they tried to recruit me into the Vanguard one at New Atlantis already. So she was like, "Oh, come to a mission with me." I was like, "No." So I have finance to do, and money to make.
You go do science, right? That's absolutely fine. For me, it's just like, all right, well, I went ahead this, and this. So I'm sort of a cowboy by nature.
Yeah.
So this sort of fits in. So I'm out there doing like cowboy stuff, and I don't want to say it's samey because it's not. There's actually some creativity put into this.
That's
like,
cool.
Obviously, there's going to be. If somebody broke it down and they said like I hate this game, I say why, right? They'd say like, well, the loop is. I set out to do this. They tell me to do this. They tell me to go here. They tell me to do this. They go talk this. I'm like, all right, got it. But I don't know what else you expected.
That's a Bethesda game. They're all like.
Well, no, it's not just them.
It's all of them. Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, then I understand. Then this is not going to be for you unless you turn around and say like, well, I really want to mess with the building and stuff like that. Well. Take it away, Pat. That's all you.
Just fucking do it, man.
For me, I go out there and I play stuff. I'm like, I hate this. I'm like,
I don't know, man.
I'm like, what's to enjoy about this? But you're like, this is fun.
It's fun, yeah. No, I love it, man. So it's like, oh, this planet has all three of these. Fuck yeah. So let's drop a point. Let's put a pin on this one. Let me go find some miners. So yeah.
Like I don't feel like it's taking away from the game from me.
No,
because I don't like the base building.
But that was me in Fallout, man. It was my job to fix the wasteland. So in this one, it's my job to become an industrialist.
That works. That works. No, that's fine. Yeah, and
then kind of Tony Stark it. I'm going to use my shit to make weapons. So, which takes a shockingly long time to level up. So
this is that is something that
crafting is a little clunky. It is not. I've found like it's really infuriating when you go out there and you really like work your ass off to get all the resources to do this one particular mod, and then you go do a mission with Mr. Cowboy Man or something, and it drops a weapon that's twice as good as the one that you just spent like 5 hours making.
Exactly,
and that's kind of like this is kind of ass.
That's why I'm like this is not this is not working for me because it wasn't just that. It wasn't just that I'd find one. I'd go into the shop.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh my god, it takes 3 more levels before I can make that, or I can pay $2,500 for it right now. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, tell you what, why don't I buy the one that you have here? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take this to the aftermarket CNC machine, right?
Yeah, that does work. So,
but I mean, it's not.
But you can't pull mods off things and then pocket them like you could in Fallout.
No,
that's kind of that kind of pisses me off.
And it's not it's not as busted as it was in Fallout, where it's like, if I do this times this times this times this.
Well, okay, so there is a little bit of a crit chance hack in there. So
there is,
with the pistols.
Yeah,
so, yeah, exactly.
But it's not
game breaking like Cyberpunk.
No, it's not.
Well, it's not game breaking like the stealth system in Cyberpunk. So
no, I got you there, and like I remember in I remember it was in Knights of the Old Republic 2. There was a gun called the Mandalorian Ripper, right? And because of the way the statistics laid out, is if you did this and this, right? Basically, since it was on a D20 system, right? If you just if you adjusted it, it's like, okay, well, actually, this is a guaranteed crit every shot, except for a natural one, right? But then all that was regular damage.
Darn, yeah,
right,
exactly.
So when you look at it, you're like, well, this damage doesn't seem to be all that impressive. But then when you fuck with it, right, and you're like, oh, it crits every time. This is how you can make a Jedi that never needs a lightsaber because he's got 2 handfuls of pistol. I'm like, actually, this is kind of cool.
It's kind of fun, yeah.
This is kind of cool. I like the idea of Blaster Jedi.
Blaster Jedi.
Yeah. Which is, that in hindsight, because we've talked about like Dark Forces and all this other stuff. In hindsight, I guess that's kind of what I really want out of my Star Wars. Is like, you guys have there's a scene, right? There's a scene in Return of the Jedi. This is not going off on Star Wars. I don't want to do that, but there's this scene in Jedi where Luke turns himself in. Right. You remember this? Yeah. And
much like your father.
And well, it's when Darth Vader sees it.
Right.
And he's just like, "You built this?"
Yeah.
It's like, because there's like 3 in the universe.
Right, yeah, exactly.
There's my old one.
Right, yeah.
You know where that is.
Right, yeah. That one's in the garbage somewhere to show up in a much worse movie in the future. Yeah.
There's mine.
There's mine.
And then, actually, what I don't know is, did anything happen to Obi-Wan's when he evaporated into...
Oh, it stayed there. Yeah.
Okay. So
no, it belongs in a museum.
Okay, so as far as I can tell, so there was Obi-Wan's,
right? There
was Darth Vader's, there was Luke's, which was his dad's.
So at one point in time, Obi-Wan owned 50% of the lightsabers in the known universe. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
and we didn't know it at the time, but as far as those movies, we didn't know the Emperor didn't have one.
No, he had the fingertips.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, why would I need this?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I gotta lay myself down,
He's over encumbered. Yeah, but fucking his ass can't fast.
Oh no.
It's like, okay, so there's only like 3 of these,
right? And
so when Vader pulls it out and he presses the little switch, and this is the thing I don't know, is like, what makes it work? Is it that my understanding is there's a button and there's a slide, but
I don't know, man.
But anyway, he turns it on and he's like super impressed.
Yeah.
He's like, wow,
cool.
It's like, this is good.
Yeah, way to go, boy.
And if you've been like, if you've been troubled or encumbered with any of the recent Star Wars shit, it is just they're everywhere.
It's the fucking noobs, who carry white ones that don't do anything. And then there's darksabers. Ooh. It's like, come on, man. So fuck that. Anyway, that's why I'm really enjoying Starfield.
Yeah,
it's like a totally new universe.
There's no goddamn laser swords.
Yeah, there's no laser swords. You know what? I was noticing this the other day, and I'm kind of glad for it, but I might not be this way in a while. But there's like no other alien races. So there's no Vulcans or Klingons or anything like that I've run into yet. So, it's like, oh, okay, so it's just people out there in the world, in the galaxy. That's kind of neat. So,
there is, and there's this weird sense. I mean, at first I was like, this is kind of depressing, but and it wasn't from the lack of aliens. It was that, okay, what you have out here is they're basically saying like this is essentially like the frontier, right? So if you're going to draw a comparison. Yeah. Right. Obviously, we're going to look at this from basically like the East Coast going to the West Coast. That's
okay. Yeah. No, that's a good comparison. I thought about that.
Right. Yeah. And if you think about that,
and the solar system's like Europe.
Well, yeah, that's sort of it. Minus like, well, it's fucked up Europe, but whatever. But
it's depressing, man.
But yeah, so the thing that I'm noticing here is like you got to these cities. You're like, all right. So you look at New Atlantis. You're like, all right. What would be a comparable, like if you look at the size of that thing, what would be an actual comparable city in the United States?
Like, I've lived in cities that were bigger than that.
Right. Now, what are they implying the size
of?
Well,
they're trying to make it out like Night City and Cyberpunk, and it's not.
It's definitely not.
No, it's not. Yeah.
No,
it's tiny. So.
It has more in common with, it's like, this is Atlanta, or this is fucking...
Not even that. Like, if you're going to compare it to anything, it's like... You got to think of it in like other game terms, man. It's not even like the big city in the fucking Witcher. It's like the little one.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
That's nice. There's a little one that's nice. So, and then there's the big one that's kind of, So,
right.
Yeah.
But that tracks.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you go to the big ones that are Norse.
Well, you're right. Yeah, that's right. There's a couple of those.
Yeah, and what is it? Skellige, I think it's called.
Yeah, Norse/Irish.
Yeah.
It's like these things. Don't
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but anyway, yeah.
All right, but okay. So, but at least they're playing on the idea. They're trying to like say it like this is a big city.
Yeah, but it's not like San Andreas or anything like that.
Oh,
that you've seen in other games. Yeah.
It would not hurt my feelings if there was a little bit of Los Santos in...
Oh, Los Santos, that's right.
I would not mind having a little Los Santos in this game.
Yeah,
but
construction workers fucking kick your ass. Yeah,
if you stand around them long enough, you're going to get in a fight.
You're going to get in a fight.
But
now the well is an interesting concept. So
see, yeah, and that's
kind of interesting. So yeah,
and again, that's where like the little like social side of this here is like, all right, so you have this shiny upside, you have this downside,
right.
You have not commented on it,
right?
Which I like, thank you, right? Because if there's anything rife for rent control in this
rent
game,
control, yeah.
If they went out there and said like, there's a society of underdwellers in this game.
Right, yeah. Where you can buy really cool shit, but yeah.
By no fault of their own.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Aren't allowed to touch grass.
Right. We think, we can't prove it, but we think this comes from transatlantic slavery.
Right, yeah, exactly. See, and I was thinking that, they could have done something really cool with this, is like actually make people much more rare. So, everything was kind of small, because everybody's all fucking flung over like a billion fucking stars now. And I think they were trying to do that a little bit with like, some of the other settlements you go to. It does feel like, oh shit, I'm probably the first person you've seen in a year. Cool. How are you, man?
Right.
So, yeah, kind of thing.
Right.
So, but, then they go with the thing with New Atlantis, and it's like, I played Cyberpunk. This is not that. So, yeah.
No. I mean, there are places that do have a little bit of that thing to them. But, I mean, the thing that I'm getting here is, all right, so if you're going to have what they feel is a big city, right, and if you were to say, like, all right, so this is following east to west, you have the 13 colonies, you're moving across the state, some people make stops, and then eventually you hit ocean on the other end, and that's where the cities get big again, right? So there's this sense of, okay, so this is where it's big, and then much like you would have in the real world, you have a series of gas stations.
Yeah.
right? And maybe small settlements around.
There are some of those though.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, there's the one the pirate ship platform that you can go to. It's in a system that's only got one planet in it.
Okay.
And one of those planets has a space station that's like it's nothing but pirates.
Oh,
so have you been there?
I don't think I have.
Okay. Well, if you get any contraband, go find that because you can sell it there. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
But yeah, so there's a couple like little things like that, here and there. But I get what you're saying that
Because at first I was like, this is depressing, but I was like, but actually that has logical sense within this. If you're looking at this as like a frontier, it's like, okay, well, this is, yes, you're going to have a small stop in Salt Lake, but along the way, you're going to have tiny little places.
Yeah, so I haven't gotten too far out of like the cluster of the few systems in the beginning. So what I'm a little bit depressed with some of them is especially the ones in the Alpha Centauri system and stuff. Wherever you land, there's fucking junk everywhere. So it's been mined like down and stuff. And so like if I go out to like one of these level 60 fucking systems, I don't expect to see any of that shit. And I hope not. So, but we'll see. I haven't gotten out there yet.
You know what? That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And I haven't gone to those places either.
No, there's so many fucking places to go. It's not even funny. So, I mean, I can see like, so in No Man's Sky where you actually fly between things, okay, that'd be kind of cool if you could actually take your ship off up into the atmosphere and actually fly around and land and so this one's not quite like that. But then once you see the scale of the motherfucker, it's kind of like, oh, it's really nice that I can just click this button and go back to the lodge.
You ain't fucking kidding, man. That is like once with that clunky menu at first, I'm like, so I have to go here. I have to get airborne.
Yeah.
I was like, I hate this so much. I'm like, this is so clunky. And then you realize from the ground.
Yeah, you don't have to do that.
You can go to another system and just hit the thing and skip all of that.
If you've been there.
If you've been there.
If you've
right?
been
And
there.
that's fine. Yeah. I don't mind that at all. That makes sense because they have to do that thing. It's like, or in cities or places where it's like where they have to scan you for contraband. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
That makes sense. Or it's like, you're trying to hop like 7 systems, asshole. Right. Like, stop here first.
Yeah.
But even then, that's it's 30 seconds out of my way?
Yeah, well, that's how so you don't actually run out of fuel.
Yeah.
It's just like how far you can go, right? Okay, that's how the graph drive works. That makes sense. So.
Yes. So yeah, it's not. Again, it's not perfect. It's better than I thought it was.
Right.
But that's the kind of shit that, wow, you guys for having tutorials that are obnoxious, right?
Oh, they are very obnoxious.
You did none.
You did 0. Yeah.
Like, well, because when you look at the opening of this game, it's like, all right, so
shortest opening I've ever been through in a game. I mean, blissfully, thankfully so. But
it took me for a loop about what this is going to be. It's like, all right, so come in here. Do you have a name? It's like, I do. I'm Jeffrey. I just typed it in. I have a weird head. They're like, all right.
Do they actually call you Captain Jeffrey?
I introduce myself as that all the time.
So, no, like, does the robot call you Captain Jeffrey? Like, his actual voice?
No.
He calls me Captain Pat. So,
does he?
Yeah.
Well, I don't go with the robot, so.
We'll try it. Grab him for a little bit and see if he actually calls you that. Because I was really impressed with that. Because I usually put Pat with, like, this one I just did it normal, like. Yeah. And it picked up on the voice recognition. Now everybody calls me Pat. So it's kind of fucking cool.
Okay, yeah. That's awesome. All right. Yeah. But yeah, so it throws you into that thing. It's like, well, take out your laser and mine these rocks. I'm like, oh boy. All right.
It was blissfully short though, man.
It is, and then they flip it around, and then just the like the big contrivance there where they're like, what do you mean this is my ship? Why would this be my ship? Why am I doing this? Yeah. Like, you want me to go where?
What?
It's like, why do you have the presumption that I can even fly this?
Yeah.
Like, this is bizarre. But I get it. I know it's either that or you have the thing in where it's like, there may be secrets about you, about a past life you had, but you fell down the stairs and forgot who you are. Go around the galaxy and reclaim your memories.
That's fine. Right? Yeah.
It's fine, but they're just like, no, you're a schmuck. Although, I mean, there is a little bit of that I don't know. I don't know where the story's going with the picking up the artifact shit. If it's going to be like, oh, well, the reason that you can react to this is because you are the chosen one.
Oh God,
Like,
I hope they don't do that.
just please don't. Just please have it be.
I did get powers from it though. That's dumb. So I don't know. Maybe they're better down the road, but it was like I can scare people now. Cool.
Well,
And you guys seem like really underimpressed by this. So fuck you guys in the lodge. I'm gonna go mine.
See, I think that's the game. I think that's the game. I at least I hope that the game understands, like, they know that. So, like, whenever you had like a D&D game go sour, right, where you're like, all right, well, I was bored at work, so I had like 8 hours, and I drew this all up and all this other stuff, and then you left it to other people, and then you're like, all right, well, you're going this way, and this guy is kind of forcing you into this thing, and they're like, nah, we don't want to do that. Like, are you sure? It's like, no, we don't want to do that. Well, I don't have anything for you.
Right, yeah.
Right? Whereas, like, if they understands that, and it's like, all right, well, yeah, we set up this quest thing, but we know for a fact that you're going to want to say, fuck this.
Yeah.
Go do whatever it is that you want to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, all right, well, if you guys understand that, then good. Nobody's feelings are hurt that I get to this when I get to this.
Yeah. See, Red Dead 2 is good about that. You could go fuck around for a long time. But the thing was, that game had really good pacing because eventually you got sick of, like, shooting deer and, like, collecting, pelts and, going around and saving people on the high plains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so then when you got through a certain part of the story, it was kind of on rails. It was on rocket skates. So
did it just sort of, like, really thrust you forward into what you're...
The whole tempo of the game changed. So,
Okay.
But during, like, the first, I'd say, third of the game, you had this big chunk where it's like... No, man, we're all cool. So around here. So
Okay.
if you want to do something, go talk to this guy. If not, just bring us money. So it was like, how? And they're like, we don't care. So, and it's like, the camp needs money. So it's like, got it. So I can go get a job? Sure. You can go be a bounty hunter. That's great. So can I rob people? Yes. So can I just be a hunter and collect really good pelts? Yes. So it's like, this is fun.
Can I go gamble?
Can I? Yes, you can. So yeah, there was a lot of things. So
Which is, yeah.
After a while, you get bored of that. It's like, all right, what's going on with the story? So, but it wasn't like GTA 5 where it's like, oh, Franklin's waiting for you. And it's like, what, like now? So I mean, I just got this dirt bike, man. I kind of want to take it out for a spin. So.
But yet it's strange because GTA 5 is just its own animal.
It is its own animal.
It plays by its own rules. It's extremely open world and it's extremely not, depending on what you're doing, right? There's this weird mix of, yes, like Franklin's waiting for you, but there's also like, stop firing rockets at my house. It's
that's true too. The game is a little bit off the hook. So I mean, I guess Fallout 4 is a better comparison because Fallout 4 was one of those things like you got to find the Institute. It's like I don't know how to do that. So
Fallout 4 lied. Fallout 4 just like you can say urgency, but
it never was.
But okay, so so the old games which I find unplayable at this point, okay, the old isometric games which are the true classics of the genre.
Yeah.
What that game had was it had a time limit.
Oh, really?
Right? Because the storyline said that if we don't get this within, I don't remember how many it was like 150 days, everybody dies.
Oh.
Yeah, you die, she dies, everybody.
Yeah, everybody dies. See why they made this guy your leader.
But so that was the little ticking clock element of, yes, I can go fuck around. Yes, I need to go fuck around. But yes, I also have to finish this story within this time period.
That's interesting.
Right?
I've never played a game like that. Not that I can think of.
I played games where they had consequences at certain times. If
Yeah,
you didn't
sure.
meet those.
You get a quest fail, or something.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
could fail or something like that. Or again, like the elements themselves were timed. Like it's
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. But the game was just like, all right, well, if that's where it ends, that's the game over, right? And that's the ending that you get.
Right.
But Fallout 3, New Vegas, 4, right?
Yeah.
New Vegas wasn't as bad about this. They were like, look, the chip needs to get here. You're the courier. Get it here.
Right.
And then when that happens, the story happens. But the other ones were like, there are synths among us, and we need to get this sorted out. And your kid is there. Or you gotta find your kid, and it's like this.
That's true. Fallout 4 did kind of lie to you.
Manipulative. It was like
yeah, my baby son is out there somewhere, but I'm gonna sit here and save these fucking leper colonies.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's true. It did kind of lie.
Where you don't have that real sense of, again, if you have the clock ticking against you, it's like, dude, I can't fuck around. I can't.
The Witcher did that to you a lot. So yeah, it did. It was like, no, this is really fucking important. Blah blah blah, and then you just go knock it out, and all of a sudden you'd open up a whole new quest. It's like, no. I'm not gonna go talk to that guy. I'm gonna go kill shit for a while. And witch, so you wouldn't do the next main story quest because you get sucked into something that you felt obligated to do. So yeah.
Well, The Witcher, to its credit, all right. So there's story element, and again, I'm not going to fight this, and again, because they didn't lie about it.
No,
right?
They didn't
lie. The thing they put out there on Front Street was like, look, the Wild Hunt is coming.
It's coming.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, they don't sit there and say, well, mark your date, it's on this Friday.
Right, yeah.
You get to wear jeans.
Yeah.
Right? It's not any bullshit like that. But it's coming.
It's coming.
And you do little things along the way that sort of reinforce that it's coming, but they don't ever jump out at you and say, hurry, you got it.
I don't know. When they're chasing Siri, you kind of feel that way. So,
I feel like the game is really speeding you. At that point, I feel like they're actually speeding you to it. Once you get to the...
let's get to Skellige. It's kind of like, get going, man. So.
Skellige, and basically by the time that you actually... when you're Siri and you finish off the crones,
that's true.
I feel like the game is really speeding toward...
So that's almost exactly how Red Dead 2 is. So
okay.
No, that's a good comparison right there. So yeah, because Red Dead 2, you get to this point in time where it's like, oh wait, I'm fucking dying. Got it. Yeah. It's like,
okay.
So I got to sort this shit out. So because my guy's looking pretty fucking rough. So yeah, yeah.
Okay, that I got. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense, right? And I guess for me, at that point too, it naturally felt like I wanted to actually progress the story.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Whereas in Fallout, I was like, well, these factions say that you have to do this, and what? It's like, all right, and to do this, do you want to be with this faction and kill this faction, or be with this faction and kill this faction?
I'm curious if they do that in this game.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
This game has religions, and I haven't even fucked with it.
I just started finding religions in it, and it was kind of like, oh, so you're one of these snake people. Cool. Got it. So... There's one
Roadblock actually in rhyme threatened to turn his eyeballs inside out.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
It'd be the single greatest threat that I've ever heard in my life.
No, we'll see, man. So I'll go home and I'll play it again tonight, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep trying to hammer out just getting one more additional cargo box.
I gotta sit down and figure out the ship shit too. So we'll swap tips.
I'm gonna do that before I go to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
I have work to do, but I'm like, fuck it, I have to do that tomorrow.
No, I'm pretty clear for tomorrow. So, but yeah, we'll see. No,
that fucking Fallout 4 shit. That was the most ham-fisted bullshit.
Well, and you tried to find a way to game it. I was like, well, I don't want to kill, Paladin Dan. He's my friend.
Why would I?
Yeah. But that actually did result in some of my more, epic gaming moments. So, where it was just like, fuck this blimp. I'm going to blow it up.
Wasn't that where you jumped off the blimp?
in a power suit after I killed their leader. So, and then they stayed there. And then, so I was like, well, what can blow this up? And then the militia men are like, well, we can build mortars. I was like, that'd probably take out a blimp. So yeah, he just pissed me off. And then you found the paladin Dan hiding in a cave later on. He's like, my brothers. I was like, they were assholes. So who cares if you're gay? It's fine.
Is that how the story?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So yeah, it was kind of like, oh come on, man. Oh no, he was a clone. He was a clone or a synth.
Oh,
or something.
that's right. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
But he was also gay, if I'm not mistaken.
He was a homo.
He was a homosexual.
He was a butt pirate.
A butt paladin. I guess I don't know, man. I thought so, but then like that game. I mean, the thing that made that game was your fucking companions, man. So. You'd spend a little bit of time with each one of them and figure out who you actually like to hang out with. And then you found out like actually dog meat was the best out of all of them. So after a while, because it's like, Nick, shut the fuck up, man. So I love you, man, but knock it off. You just keep getting me into trouble. So
well, it's like, could you just turn off the shtick for just
a second?
Just a second.
Yeah.
Right.
So little annoying reporter lady. He was like, "Oh, you come on one mission with me, you can never come with me again."
You know what? I ended up taking her with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was just a matter of convenience.
Oh.
It's like I didn't like you. It's just that I don't remember why, but I had to take this person along, and then because look, dog meat's been part of all those games, so I've taken dog meat
everywhere.
On many adventures.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, it's just like, all right, well, let me see how this plays out. No, actually, that's right. I eventually split ways with her for Nick Valentine because he had quest things.
He had fun quests
that were actually interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
He had fun ones.
Yeah.
So,
and then I just like at that point I was like, well, you can stick with me. I was like, I'm not taking Preston Garvey with me.
He was insufferable. Even though I eventually sided with his guys. So
you did because your philosophies aligned.
It did, but it's like I'm gonna save the wilderness, and you're gonna stay back in Sanctuary, where you're, or what was it? It wasn't Sanctuary.
I think it was.
Oh yeah,
I think you're right. I think you're right.
You're gonna stay back in Sanctuary,
which was your neighborhood.
Yeah, make sure you fight off all the fucking super mutants before they eat your children. So, but anyway,
that's a problem.
That is a problem.
I get it.
So yeah. But anyway. Yeah, we'll see.
What's odd is, look, I'm talking all this shit, but I know that I would play the next game if it came out.
Another Fallout?
Sure.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh.
So, well, we get a new Dragon Age like next year. So, yeah.
There's been talk about the new Baldur's Gate game actually being good, but
I've heard that too. So, yeah, I might have to check that one out. I don't know, man. I'm into the Starfield genre right now.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not trying to
I don't know if I'm going to pay for New Liberty, though. So, just quite yet on Cyberpunk. That one might have to wait till, I'm Starfielded out and then played Skylines for a while.
This is...
Because I know I'm going to fucking start all over, man. So...
Oh, yeah.
I know I'm going to start all over.
Of course.
Yeah, because there's so many new features in the game now. They got, like, car chases and gangs that actually, like, react to what you do and shit. So, which should have been in the game originally, but it wasn't. So, and the cops, they actually chase you rather than say, hey, stop, citizen. And you're like, bye.
And there was the cops in Night City. It's like, get his ass. It's like, nah, he's about a block away. Fuck it, man. Fuck it.
No, there's homeless people here we can beat up on.
No, you're absolutely right. And you know what? It's that...
Speaking of homeless people. So anyway.
What?
Tangent coming. Go for it.
Oh, no. It's I guarantee you, if I weren't playing this, I would be playing that DLC right now.
Oh, it's out now?
I promise you. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it wasn't coming out for a little bit.
Yeah, I believe it's out
Yeah,
now.
Starfield wasn't around, I probably would be playing
I guarantee you I would.
Yeah.
And I'd probably be like in love with it because look, there were different when I went on the Gorilla Arms path.
That's fun.
And the whole thing was just me like you want to talk about front door where it's just straight up like so I punched my way
through Arasaka Tower
from start to finish. I solved every problem with my fists. This actually goes back to one of our old episodes. Was I didn't know. I thought punching people resulted in a non-lethal takedown.
Oh no, you kill them.
This is where I was like,
Yeah.
they're just sleeping, Patrick.
No.
Until I found out halfway through, I was like, I thought I'd been saving the cyber psychos. It's like, no, you beat them to death.
You beat them to
This
death
is
with
what
your
happens.
fist. You literally have to have a non-lethal weapon in order to be able to do that.
And there's you just put it in. You just put in the little mod, and it's like
a little chip, yeah.
yeah.
And then you can use it again you want.
Yeah, I had a lot of people that I thought were going to be fine.
No, So the last time I played it, I only made it probably about a third of the way through the game, but I had already broken it, and I did this Velociraptor thing.
Yeah,
So,
you did the mantis blades.
holy
yeah.
shit! Oh man, it's so gory. So it's just you're soaked in blood in every counter, and it's fantastic. And so I did that with just a normal pistol, so to get their attention, kind of thing. It's like, yeah, even I think I made it to the point in time where I got the rifle out of what's her name. What's the chick?
Oh,
With
Pan Am?
Pan Am. I got her rifle. Because she's got the only, one of those fucking, the big sniper rifle that's got a silencer on it in the game. She's the only one who's got one of those. So I made it to that point. Which is, yeah, I guess it's about halfway through the game. So, yeah. It's before Johnny takes you on his little trip. So,
it is, yeah. What you were talking about is you have wandered into choice time.
It was definitely choice time. Yeah, it was definitely choice time. So, but I didn't even use her gun. So I was like, I don't fucking need it. So I was like, can I give it back to you? And of course, she's like, no.
I want you to have it.
I know. It's
really
like, okay,
important to
well,
me.
it'll sit in the foam casing back in my shit apartment. So, in the wall. I don't know why my apartment has a fucking weapons room. So, but maybe that's just standard feature in Night City. You never know.
Well, I don't. What I don't know is what part of your apartment is missing for you to have done that. So,
did you get the cat?
I played with the cat, but I didn't get the cat.
You can actually adopt the cat. So if you play that game again, all right. So you find that thing that says "feed the cat" like really early. Just go downstairs. There's a vending machine that sells cat food. Just put that cat food in that cat's bowl. The cat will move in with you. So yeah, I found that out last time.
This is the kind of stuff that I want to play.
And the cat's always there, and it's just either on your bed or it's like sitting on your chair. Or it's, I think there's a sunspot that it likes if it's a certain time of day.
That's amazing.
It's
well, look. I'm just going to throw this out here. Yeah, just Cyberpunk was. Look, I know they took a long time developing it, so I'm not going to sit there and bitch about what I got because I ended up loving it.
I love that game
a ton. Now, what I can say is, unfortunately, like with some games, there's enough there for you to see the intent versus the
This one might be one of those. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. What I don't know is I haven't read interviews about like what they were originally going to do. I know what they were saying Cyberpunk was going to be. I know that I can see like, why are these doors locked? Why tons
of them.
It's like
tons of them.
This does not make sense, especially when you go to the areas that work. I'm like, I can tell what you were trying to do, but you didn't have time. If there was a little bit more, I hate to say it, Los Santos in Cyberpunk, right? It would be like the perfect city game, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely perfect.
Absolutely.
There would be nothing that I could complain about.
Yeah, there's almost no reason to go outside of the city except for that whole Pan Am line. So, otherwise, everything you do is in the city.
Yeah. Well,
just going like new parts of the city. Like, I mean, it took me forever to get down to Pacifica. So one time, then I realized I was like, this place is like the fucking Wild West. This is great.
And then you get up to that spot up north. I'm like, well, there's a reason I don't hang out up here. Is because this is like the warehouse district.
Oh, that
and
one?
they treat it like the warehouse district.
Yeah. So there's actually a gun up there that is like one of the first things that I grab. So because it's badass, but you can just sneak in and get it. But yeah. Yeah, so playing that one the second time was kind of like, okay, I know what I want. So, because the first time it was like, all right, I did this, and I didn't really like that playstyle after a while, but fuck it, I'm too late to change it. So, I've got all the right guns for it and stuff, and blah, blah, blah. And so the second time I played it like you did with the gorilla arms, it's like, I just want to slice people in half. So I want to move as fast as a raptor, and I want to actually just fucking jump from roof to roof. and there's a couple things that you get the fucking the springy leg, the go-go gadget leg. Oh my god, that makes that game a totally different fucking game. So, you know, and I mean, yeah, if I was going to do it with grill arms, I'd definitely get those too.
It was...
You're right, yeah, exactly.
And you know what's funny is if you ended up watching the show, like, wow, this is actually conceptually like a lot more, like, I think this is what you were going for.
Yeah.
And God, that was a fun watch. But anyway, you had a tangent you were about to go on. Something about the homeless.
So the homeless, all right, so I was drilling into, it's like, it's a little late to get into politics, so I won't go too far into it. But, so I was drilling into inflation statistics the other day, so I was curious about it. So we're so, like, think about, like, the things that people spend money on. There's inflation in certain places and there's not in others. So what are the ones where there is?
The places where there's inflation?
Yes.
Rent?
Rent, yes. Okay, so it's definitely rents. Except for one municipality in the United States. Which one is it?
One place? Like one city?
One metro complex. So it's called an MSA, Metropolitan Statistical Area. So you're talking about a top 20 city. So there's one place where it is cratering.
Oh, Detroit.
No. Good guess, though. That's actually not an MSA. So, yeah, it's not big enough. So, Detroit's fucking smaller than this town now, buddy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. So are a lot of the places along the Rust Belt, yeah.
Oh, yeah. San Francisco. Rents are finally starting to crater in San Francisco.
That's got to be a demand thing.
It's absolutely a demand thing, yeah. So that's the only two way you actually lower rents other than rent control.
Right.
You know, in any city is to actually increase crime. All right. And so your top end guys are the first guys to get in and the first guys to get out.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have means.
Well, yeah, not just because they have means, but also, like, if you're a top end guy, your property's an investment. Okay. And so you're going to dump it faster if you're losing money on it. Makes sense? So, whereas if you're a working class stiff, all right, you'll take what you can get. All right. If you can have a nicer place, great.
You buy the best you can.
You buy the best you can. That's correct. And so the bottom end of the rent, you know, is the stuff that doesn't move very much. But rents are actually down in San Francisco and have been for almost 6 months now. So because that top end is fleeing. So, or they're partitioning out their units and stuff like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, you know, it was kind of interesting to see that there was exactly one metropolitan statistical area in the United States where rents are going that way. And there you go. It's that one. Speaking of homeless.
Dude, we've got some real, like, you and I have said this, you know, many times, right? And until I go to my grave, I've still that this generally is going to be true, is that the triteness and the triviality of the problems that you have is a sign of the health of your nation, right? When you debate the minutiae, it is because your bigger problems are largely contended with.
You've been very consistent about that stance for at least a decade.
Now, that being said, there are actual problems that are starting to spring up.
There are.
That now need attention. Now, again, you and I live here.
Yeah.
They're not busing the migrants here.
No, they're not.
New York is in shambles right now.
I mean, it's not burning down, but, you know, I mean, so I did see, like, there has been some, like, that Eric Adams guy is about to fucking defect.
That dude is...
He's about to defect from his party.
That dude is...
Like, so there's this one guy on Twitter that I follow, and he's the guy whose podcast is closing up this Friday. He had a great tweet the other day, or Zeet, or whatever it is. Sheet. The other day, where he was like, you know, if, like, you know, so Greg Abbott is the guy in Texas who does this.
Yes.
So, who's actually kind of a neat guy. So I've learned a little bit more about him lately.
He's an interesting...
I didn't realize he was Republican FDR, man. So.
Yeah, he walked a very interesting tightrope.
But anyway... said, you know, if you really wanted to actually, like, you know, affect the election, you'd probably send these guys to Ohio or to a swing state. You know, if you send them to a blue state, it's still going to vote blue. So, but if you pick out a decent purple state and start sending people to Atlanta, you know.
Well, okay, so this is the thing, though. This is why, particularly, this is effective. Because, number one, you have to do this in a place that is, basically declared itself sanctuary. That's the whole purpose.
Oh, yeah, that's
right?
true, yeah.
That's the whole purpose of this, because they've made an obligation to do this. Now, they have run down the numbers.
But you can find blue cities in purple states that have done that. So, like, Denver's a good example. So...
Yeah, Denver's a good example, but Denver's ultimately
fine.
It's going to be fine. Well, the other thing here too is that Denver, coming December and January is going to be problematic, right?
What's that?
Because it gets cold.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Not that New York doesn't. Don't get me wrong, but they're housing these people. They're putting these people in hotels and shit, right?
Yeah.
Now. The thing is, it's not that you're going to get that state or that city to turn around and flip red, per se.
No,
right?
you're not.
But here's the thing, is how does Giuliani get in there, right?
Well, yeah, no, eventually you piss off the electorate to the point in time where they flip it. So,
Exactly,
yeah, that's
right. And that's
Eric Adams is not that far removed from Giuliani. So, I mean, at Giuliani's prime, Giuliani nowadays, his fucking brain is melty, but whatever. But back in his prime, he's not that far from Eric Adams.
No, so. Well, they're sort of on the same, path as Law and Order guys. Although,
right.
That's it. But there is something where you get the electorate not to necessarily go red, but they go a different shade of blue. They go,
yeah.
And that's where, you have people that are fucking disrupting and breaking down every single one of AOC's meetings. They're doing this.
Yeah, she's irrelevant. Her whole she's done.
She's an insider.
The burning wing of the party is cooked. So I mean, thoroughly roasted, well done.
Yeah.
So it's. I watched. So there's a couple people on the Bernie side that I watch. Blissfully, they're all on Twitter, and so now I can go back and look at all the bullshit they've been saying. And
see the dates associated with it. Yes.
Well, yeah, I don't go back too far, but I saw two of the people that I watch outside of Twitter get into a fight on Twitter the other day about this stuff, and
what they fight about?
Bernie, so.
Are they trying to pretend that it's all alive and well, or what?
Well, somebody is. The other person, the guy who clearly won the debate because he got a you suck out of the other person.
And the horse you rode in.
Right, exactly. It's like, all right, so moving on to the next debate. So, I didn't realize that was a Twitter version of a white flag. So, or maybe a party ship is going down. Yeah. But, I mean, he made all salient points about it, too. He's like, it's done. Everybody was, excited about it for a little bit. But it took good ideas and turned them stupid. So,
Agreed.
Yeah. And it completely missed his chance. So, and he's actually corrected himself and gone back towards the party, which is where he should be. So, in some respects, rather than on this fringe thing that a lot of people, who supported him during this time really wanted him to keep going with. But, he turned back to Biden. So... That's because they're buddies, and they have been for a long time. So I don't see any consistency there. I just see a choice that he made that you don't like. Cool. So, but yeah, that and the AOC, they're all done. Speaking of done, I think Lauren Boebert's probably done. So yeah,
I
didn't see.
I gotta be honest. I don't.
No, man. She's got a razor thin margin in that fucking district. So, any one little thing where it's just like, nah, I'm sick of the drama. I'll go for the other guy. So, I don't know. But, and the thing is, she was getting dogpiled by Republicans, too.
She was.
Actual, Trump-loving Republicans. So, out there. So, and notice he didn't say anything about it. So, because his woman is Marjorie Taylor Greene. So, Yeah, I think she's
after those two stopped being buddy, that was sort of the end of that, because she doesn't lead a faction. The only argument that I can say is you knew she was white trash when you got her.
Yeah.
And I would never. There's two phrases. I'm sorry. All right. I've said this before. It's like you can take the tiger out of the jungle, but you can't take the jungle out of the tiger, and you can't make a hoe into a housewife. And in this particular case, when you see the fucking Zero Dark 30 footage of her fucking vaping at juice and giving a Democrat bartender a handy. Like, I mean, this is like...
See, and that's what's going to get her, man. So that's why she's going to lose her support.
It's so white trash.
Well, people have said that about her from the beginning, man.
I know,
but I don't think she's actually going to have the support to be able to pull it through. Here's what I think she's going to do: is she's going to duck out of the race and go work for Fox News.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. So because then she can do all of that shit that she wants, and nobody will give a fuck. So
maybe. I mean that's the thing is like, if you really look at it and you say like, all right, well, I can't be shocked because this is the brand I voted for, right? Okay, I got it. I got exactly what I asked for, but at the same time, you and I have discussed this. Like, there are certain events, there are certain things, like, if you polled your dad, if you asked my dad, you asked me, you asked my brother, there are certain things where it's like, you know what, I like this guy until he did this.
Until he did that.
Right? Yeah. And it's the same shit where it's like, Travis Kelce was an awesome guy until I saw him do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. And that could be, it's like, you do not... You don't give a handy at Beetlejuice. You don't. I don't. It's like, I don't know what the fuck you were doing there at a.
I don't know either.
At a live performance anyway. That's not for you. You don't give a fuck. It's like you have no culture.
I'm not gonna come down on her that hard, man. So
well, no,
I didn't think she was that bad.
It's like
no, I never got the hoe impression out of her. I never got the white trash impression out of her.
When I saw her rap sheet.
Okay, there was a little bit of that, but that's like living in the mountains, kind of like, boys will be boys kind of thing. And I mean, her husband was a fucking roughneck, so, this doesn't surprise me, in some respects. So her first election, she beat the shit out of that guy in the primary because she went hard right. And that guy was like milquetoast Republican. Yeah. That's the only reason she got in that job. Okay, so it had nothing to do with her personal background and stuff. Like, she just wasn't. The other dude wasn't Trump enough at that time. So, and then she won the last election by like 200 fucking votes.
Yeah.
So I can't see her necessarily recovering from this. And beating that guy who's been making inroads on her. So because he's just a business dude out of like fucking Aspen or something like that, and so that's. Okay, if you're going to talk about the wealth within her entire constituency, that's it. It's not going to be found in Pueblo or Rifle, Colorado. So there you go. And so, I just don't really see it. I mean, I see her smart move as being like, okay, I'm going to go work for Fox News. All right, because if I run and I lose, then I'm out. So, yeah.
The problem here is, for me, for somebody who got caught doing that, it's hard for me to ascribe the smart move to their...
I'm working with what I got here, man. So, come on. Okay. I'm working with what I got. So I've been trying to think things through lately. So, like, that through, the next election through, and then the Ukraine thing, I've been trying to think, okay, if I'm trying to empathize. I'm like, okay, I'm in these shoes. What's my smart fucking move? And then see if they actually do it. And so that's been my latest shtick. So
yes, but the truth of the matter is, and you know this as well as I, this you are what you do.
Yeah, you are.
And when it comes down to her, all right, so I have actions. I have actions to judge her on. I have actions to say this. And look, to me, there's a smart version of this where, all right, there's a version of politics where eventually I don't think there's a problem with you stopping and saying, like, look, I did what I did.
Yeah.
Right?
Bob Menendez should try that.
What did he do? What was
I don't know, man. All I know is that he's been in the Senate for 30 years, and I've been seeing corruption stories for at least the last 10. So, apparently this is a pattern. This is a feature, not a bug. So with that guy,
just because you keep getting out of it doesn't.
Yeah. Even Cory Booker the other day, who's like the most harmless of all senators out there. Maybe just think about that. He's not going to do it.
Yeah.
There's no way I would do that. If I was that guy, there's no way I'd fucking resign. So it's a lot easier to defend myself as a sitting senator than it is as some guy who resigned. So that would be dumb. So, it'd be an admission of guilt. So there's no way you can do that.
Yeah, and no matter how many times it's been done, basically the American public knows that once they hear decided to spend more time with his family, it's like, oh, you did it.
Oh, you did it. Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah, I think Joe Biden's about to decide to spend more time with his family.
Yeah. That. I think you made a salient point where you're like, you can fuck with a lot of things, but not the IRS, and that's what got Al Capone at its most corrupt. And you're right, is once they got you, they got you.
Yep.
And you're right. And
you can always follow the money, man. There's receipts even if you don't save them. So
somebody does.
Yeah, somebody does.
Somebody has to.
Somebody sold it to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody has to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
and it's coming out.
It is, man. And so there's like rumblings on like some of the more like with it parts of the Democratic Party that are kind of like, okay, so what are we gonna fucking do? So about this, because his poll numbers are marching in the direct opposite
They're
direction.
underwater.
Oh yeah, well, and today was even better because the other day Washington Post came out with their one on like Monday, and they're like, oh, it's a fluke, and now there's like 5 more that came out today.
They're worse.
They're worse.
They say he lost 17 points with black voters.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, and I mean he's losing the same with Hispanic voters too. So
Hispanics have been kissed in because they are not.
They are officially Republicans.
They're Republicans. And they're whites. And
they are. Yeah.
Welcome to the party.
Welcome to the party.
Welcome to the party. Now, I thought, in my heart of hearts, I thought Asians would get there first. But no.
No, that's because they all live in California. Come on, man. So, the sun does rise in the east.
No, you're right. They have to make their way to like St. Louis and New Jersey.
I'm a banker from St. Louis. I'm gonna make it to the Olympic Valley. Republican.
I tell you, it's like I had so many students, I had so many people that worked and lived in San Francisco and just in the Bay Area, and these are all migrants. Right?
Yeah.
These are all migrants, and they're here because they were fucking, parts of like, some part of like the oligarchy in Russia and Ukraine in one way or another. Because otherwise, it wouldn't be there, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You couldn't get out of the country.
And just the on the street, the perspective they had of this area is like, is America like this? I'm like,
no, just that part.
No,
yeah,
that
just,
part
just
that
part.
in.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's kind of special. So,
all right,
they're slowly dismantling it, though, man. So
it's like all things. It's got
a sine wave to it. Yeah,
it's a thing that you and I went to New York after we did not see the Times Square of old.
Oh no,
your dad could have probably told some stories.
My dad refused to go to New York for many years.
There you go.
So, yeah,
right.
So like all of the 70s.
When it was a shithole.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
Yeah.
And we got there. After Giuliani, right or wrong, stopped and frisked everyone and basically, clean that place up, turn it into a moneymaker again. And again, it's in our lifetime. It's like, oh, you guys are doing this again, huh?
It's not as bad as it was before.
No, but the trash is piling up. It's
well, maybe they'll have a garbage strike again. If you never know. So,
dude, that's such a huge deal. But they cut it down to like collection once a day, things like that. So you are seeing that sort of.
Oh, maybe they'll shut down the federal government too. So,
dude, I don't
even know what's going on with that. I can't keep up with it.
Well, what's the major sticking point?
I have no idea.
Well,
I don't fucking know.
It's about money to Ukraine.
Oh, that's pennies. So, Jesus Christ, I don't know if it's necessarily. I think there's a few guys who just want to get rid of Kevin McCarthy. So,
fine.
Yeah, okay. I don't care either.
Who are you going to put in?
Exactly.
Who are you going to install?
Yeah, who are you going to install? Marjorie Taylor Greene? No way. So
Matt
Gaetz. Yeah, no, he's not going to make it either, man. So
well, he seems like, in some ways, a reasonable guy, but the hydrocephalus that he has in his head will prevent him from holding it back.
That's a good note to end on. Yeah.
Fucking Senator Billy Quizboy. All right.
Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to unsee that now.
He doesn't look right.
So, it's like, you're not supposed to sleep on an incline, bro.
God, man, he looks okay from the sideburns down, but like. All right.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey.
I'm hitting the button.
Goodbye.